This week on Motorhead Garage, Brian and John install and test drive a fifth wheel hitch, as well as look at some customized Broncos. All of this and more next on Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. Now, Broncos, and more Broncos. As beautiful as these Broncos are, well, the real beauty lies in the fabrication and the modifications and the ingenuity that went into them. We have Gordon from Bailey Built. Gordon, tell us about your company and how did you get to this level of Bronco mania?
We started as a hobby and just bought a Bronco to go out and wheel with buddies. Products kind of started happening. I started building for myself, and then you go out again and everybody goes, can I have one of those? So we started off with the original bumper, is this one in the center, and that's kind of what you're seeing here. It's a three-piece front bumper. The center section is a skid plate and winch mount all in one unit, and then the ends bolt on, which gives you some leverage if you bend to end, or shipping also is cheaper on the front bumper being three pieces. And that has turned into the 8274 front bumper, which is the Warren winch that they actually discontinued production on the Warren winch, the 8274, and due to the off-roaders' public outcry, Warren actually brought it back into production. So as strong of a winch as that is and as sought after, I decided to go ahead and do a center section specifically for that winch. Normal winches bolt down, and the 8274 bolts forward, so it's a complete different center section. Other than that, the ends are the same, and then the rear bumper is body height adjustable for no body lift, 1-inch body lift, or a 2-inch body lift. It depends on how you bolt the brackets into the rear bumper. So if you don't have a body lift this year and you add one, you don't have to cut and weld anything on the rear bumper. It just, you would bolt it to the proper location.
Now, you build other products as well. I mean,
yes.
Take us through this gray Bronco over here. And I know the engine in there's a lot of heat and issues with Broncos because you're sealing them up in such a tight quarters there. What did you design there? We
have a product called a Built Cool. It goes in the inner fender, and you cut out some of the solid part of the inner fender, and it's perforated steel, and it allows the heat out from the engine bay. So as the air charge is trying to be forced in with the fan sucking air through the radiator, this gives the air somewhere to go out of the engine bay, which makes the whole engine bay cleaner air-wise. And my engine temperatures, whenever I first added those to my Bronco, and it went down about 10 degrees.
Awesome. And you put them on a lot of the Broncos?
Yeah, it's a good product. It's a nice problem solving for people. You know, you randomly get a phone call, hey, I've got an overheating issue, you know, and I just did a new radiator. I did a 3-pass radiator, but I'm still got an overheating issue. So this is where this product comes into play, where you can have as much radiator as you can, but if you're not getting air through that, this lets the air out from under the hood, so the radiator's more efficient.
Now, at Bailey Built, you're all about problem solving and ingenuity. Tell me a little bit about the bed of this one and what you do with that extra space. That's incredible.
Yeah, in the bed, we have a storage tool tray that I have straps and winch blocks and stuff like that in. Some guys carry toys for their kids. Whenever they have a back seat, they can put the toys in the two sides. It creates storage out of absolutely nothing. It's one of those, it's kind of a cool product.
Paint's a little special as well. I think There's a story behind that.
We did that for breast cancer awareness. I have a good friend, Amanda Good, has survived breast cancer.
And that's in honor of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome itself. Now, on our silver one here, I mean, once again, ingenuity, it's incredible. I mean, there was a huge problem. You solved that issue. Tell me about that one.
We get, a lot of guys spend a lot of money on the paint jobs. You can see the charcoal gray. I mean, this is some of our paint work. This is some more of our paint work. This is another fine example of the caliber of paint jobs that go on these things. Get going down, driving down the road. The inner fenders are about 4 inches in from the outer fender that you see. You have absolutely no protection from what the tire's throwing up as you're driving down the highway. So you can put the big aggressive tires on where you pick up the rocks. Well, as they pick a rock up, the inertia throws the rock back out of the tire, and it puts an Audi dent or a check at the top back of the fender. So now you just ruined your paint job. So we've designed a product called a Stone Guard. It's a stainless steel panel that You can put up in there with some screws or rivets, and it fills that void in. It's open in the front and open at the back, so even if you get mud built up in there, you can still wash it out with a garden hose when you're at home.
Awesome. Well, I can see your passion. I mean, it's obvious with these Broncos right here. Tell us a little bit about your website. Where can they find it, or what information about your company?
We're baileybuilt.com. The website kind of gives you just a quick overview of what the product line is. I am not limited to that. We do custom builds all the time. The charcoal gray Bronco is actually one of our major body mods, custom builds. Suspensions, this has front and rear link suspension underneath it. The charcoal gray Bronco, we did a 4-link under the back of it, set up for street. The 4-link under the back of this is set up for off-road. 3-link under the front of this is set up for off-road.
Now, the whole 9 yards. All they have to do is just go to the website, check them out. You can make your Bronco look like this one. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, is being brought to you by MRT Performance for performance car parts and servicing. Code 504, unmatched knowledge with small town service. Car Top Cargo Carriers, just get in the car and go. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. Now, if you ever towed a fifth-wheel trailer, you know it can be uncomfortable, dangerous, and can even get costly if it's not done right. Well, Reese, they've been pioneering performance for years, and they hit the mark with their new Sidewinder here. Now, Brad from Reese Products, it's a household name, Reese. Everybody kind of knows it. Tell us a little bit about the company, and then let's talk about this Sidewinder.
Well, Reese Products is a leader in the industry in hitches, as far as your standard bumper pole hitch, all the way to weight distribution systems, to your fifth wheel hitch, all the way to pin boxes.
Now, this Sidewinder, like I said, pioneer in performance. This is it. Tell us, what does it do?
Well, the standard Sidewinder is a pin box. Your standard pin box, what it does is your pivot point is right here. Problem is, now with your 5.5-foot beds, you're going to make a sharp turn, you're going to be taking out your back window in your truck. So what Reese did is we take the pivot point from right here and we move it back 22 inches. So now your pivoting is back here.
And this actually attaches to the trailer. That's going to give us the clearance when we turn and stuff?
Absolutely.
Now, a little bit of these components. Our viewers, a fifth wheel, it may be foreign to them. Tell us how this actually works.
Well, what happens is the Sidewinder consists of 3 components. The first component is a Sidewinder arm, which it takes all the load. The second component is the turret, and the turret, all your rotation happens right here. And the third component we have is what's called our wedge.
Okay.
And what the wedge does is it actually goes inside of your fifth wheel hitch, just like this, and prevents any rotation at the head.
Now, the head, this is the portion that's inside the truck?
That's correct.
All right. And you have different variations of this. What if I have a bigger truck or more weight or different size trailers?
Yeah, so what Reese has, this is our standard 16,000-pound Sidewinder. Reese also has a 19,000-pound Sidewinder. And also on the OE side, we have what's called the Revolution. And the Revolution comes in both 16,000-pound and 10,000-pound.
Now, you also have an air ride version if you want some real comfort.
We do. So the air ride comes in a 16,000-pound, and what the air ride does, it still acts the same. We still have our pivot point back here. But the air ride has an airbag and a shock inside to take all the road noise out of it, basically.
Exactly. Well, give us a couple of tips when I go to put my fifth wheel and I back it up to the truck. I know there's some common misconceptions, a wrong way to do it, really.
There is. And unfortunately, we've seen this with people who have been hitching for 25 years. What happens is people think that you just back up your trailer, so your kingpin is right here, and then you lower the trailer down. And that's wrong. What we tell people to do when you back up is you want what's called the belly plate right here is actually going to line up right here.
Okay.
So then you back in your hitch, now you're loading the system, and now you're actually picking up the front of the trailer.
All right, so it's just going to come into this direction here. It's going to hit this right here, come up, and this is automatically going to lock?
That's correct.
Now, what can I do to really ensure that it's locked and I'm safe to go?
What we tell people to do, after everything is locked up and hitched, make sure you pin your fifth wheel head, get in your truck, lock your trailer brakes, and try to pull forward a little bit. Now, it's important you still have your trailer jacks down all the way. If you pull up all the way, doesn't unhitch, you're good to go.
Now, installation, it was pretty cut and dry. I mean, it was easy. We took our old trailer, we got some PB blaster. I mean, the bolts could be all rusted. Shot them down a little bit. That's probably the best thing to do. Pulled them all out, and then we took the old hitch off. And quite frankly, that thing was a lot lighter than this one. Man, this is a beefy unit.
It really is. It really is. And total installation time, we tell people, is roughly around a half hour.
And that was easy. I mean, there was really nothing to it. We took the bolts out, and then what we had to do is put this one in its place. I mean, we had to get superhuman strength Brian over there to give us a hand. I mean, but it was 3 of us. We got it up in there. We lined the bolts up. We went ahead and bolted them up. We really got to make sure everything's torqued to specifications. I mean, we're towing with this.
You do, we do. We tell people that when you put the bolts in here, it's in our instructions for this install. We did 150 foot-pounds.
Okay, once that's in place, then we just bolt that up. We can go ahead and hook it up. Now the truck bed, that's unique too. I mean, that removes and gives us truck bed space.
It is, it is. That unit right there is roughly around 100 pounds, and customer can take it out of their truck, set it down, and they can still use it out of their truck.
Now the real beauty of it is, I mean, once we got it in there, we went for a ride. And man, that was phenomenal because we could turn to the left, we could turn to the right. I mean, we had more than enough clearance with the trailer, and the ride was phenomenal. I mean, great product.
Thank you.
Now, if you want to learn more, just go to their website, check them out, and then we'll have more of Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Plastic, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park. Magic Creeper, ready, rain or shine.
One of the handiest and most frequently used items we have in the Motorhead Garage shop is our Magic Creeper, and there's a good reason for it. This is a super low profile creeper made out of a unique fabric that's resistant to stuff like oil and water. You can wipe all that stuff away with a rag. What it allows us to do is to quickly get under a vehicle if we need to check something out. We can also use it to help slide cargo in and out of a pickup truck or another elevated space. What makes it so unique is the fact that it rolls up and it stores so easily. You can throw it behind the back seat of your truck and the trunk of your car and have it for any emergency needs or anything that may arise. One of the tips to use this properly, which I'm going to go under a pickup truck here, it's been leaving a little puddle every time we parked it, so I want to see what that's all about. But the biggest tip to use with the Magic Creeper is to make sure you get it nice and far underneath your vehicle. Kind of take it, roll it out like that, give yourself an area to sit down on. Once you sit down, it's just as easy is sliding under the vehicle. I'm under the fuel tank here and I can clearly see that the leak is right there. All I gotta do now is go get the tools to fix the leak. So now that I've identified the problem, it's just gonna be as easy as sliding out, heading over to the toolbox, getting the tools, and then headed down the road. Gonna roll this thing back up again, throw it behind the seat of the truck, and the Magic Creeper will be back and ready for its next use.
Time now for Project 18-8 with Steve Flanders.
Carpet time on our Project 18-8. Now, it's almost a shame to cover up our beautiful floor, but wait till you see it's done. Steve, this is a 3-step process. Why don't you walk us through the first step?
Okay, so the first thing is we got our sound deadener, and we got a great little map here that they give us with the kit. It's all lettered out, and I've got a couple of mine laid in place, but we're gonna have to figure out where the rest of these go. But basically, we're gonna peel this off. We're going to stick these in place. And why don't you tell everybody what the importance of this sound deadener is?
Well, that's actually going to stop any of the resonance, vibrations in the cab. It's going to give you a good sound in there with your sound system. Very important to put that first. Next, we're going to go ahead and put that jute mat with the heat installation. Well, the jute mat's pre-fit. Steve, how are we going to get it stuck down?
So what I like to do is just kind of loosely get it in place first. You're going to put jute side down, and then, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a pair of scissors and a box knife around in case you have to do any trimming. What I like to do is once you got it kind of loosely in place and where you're going to put it, get yourself a can of spray adhesive. We're going to spray this area really good, backside of the mat. Give that a couple seconds to dry. Push it in place, and then I always like to lift the front half, work our way that way so we don't have to try to glue the whole thing down at once. That's just chaos.
Nothing to it. I'll give you a hand with this. Next, it's carpet time. Now, step 3 is the carpet. It's really going to set this cab off. Steve, looks pretty similar to doing the jute mat.
Basically the same. You're going to loosely get the carpet in place, and in this case, I like to move from the middle out to the sides instead of from front to back. You'll notice it's a molded carpet set, so it's going to sit right in your floor. You're going to get all these wrinkles out of here as we glue it down, and really, just going to lift it up, spray it right in, pat it down. This is a good time to have your box knife and your scissors available so you can do a little trimming around the edges. And then, once we've got this all in, icing on the cake. Brand new set of pedals and a nice shiny set of sill plates. We'll finish this thing up.
Yeah, it's gonna look so good inside. You know what? Join us next week. We're gonna have to seal this thing up to protect our beautiful interior on the Project 18-8. Well, you have an older pickup truck. You close the door, it doesn't latch. Slam it even harder, it still doesn't latch. Well, Trick Manufacturing has the answer with their Easy Latch Kit. Check this out.
Hey, Bill. Looks like my old truck's coming along nice.
Yeah, she is. Got the doors all lined up. But we've still got a problem with the stock latches.
Oh, I knew it. I'm slamming the doors all the time to get them to shut.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I heard about these Altman Easy latches, and I think they'll fix the problem. They use bear jaw style latches. They're completely bolt in, and you can still use your inside and outside handles. The installation looks really clean, too.
Really?
Yeah, and they're safer, too. No more doors popping open on you going around a corner. If the missus was with you, that could have been really bad.
Blah, 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 nag, nag, nag. Blah, 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 nag, nag, nag. Nag, 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 nag. Harold, are you even listening? I'm not gonna ride in that dang truck if it isn't safe. What are you smiling about?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Yeah, I'm listening. I think they sound great. Let's get a set ordered.
Well, that's a cute way to learn about the product. You want to keep your content safe and make sure your doors latch? Check them out on the website.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, is being brought to you by Lucky 7 Rod Shop, from renderings to reality. Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. You know, we do a lot of tire and wheel work here in the shop, and the reality is we'd have to ship a lot of that stuff down the road to various other outlets, and it was taking a bunch of time. Sometimes the work was getting done right, sometimes it wasn't. So we decided to call our friends at Ranger and talk about some options that would best suit us here at Motorhead. The reality is we do a lot of high-performance stuff, so we needed something that was going to work well with big diameter wheels and short sidewall tires. Thankfully, Ranger has some great options, and they hooked us up with two of their best pieces.
That's right, Brian. Essential piece of any garage is a tire machine, and Ranger's no exception, man. This thing is tire shop tested. It's tough. There's a couple of cool features on here, just like any tire machine, except they're much better. Take a look at this. We got this option here. We can take these jaws, we can go inside or outside the tire. But man, we can reach all the way out and get those big old rims Brian was talking about. We can grab them inside, outside. We got some nice plastic covers. We can even reverse the jaws, bring them back in. Our shovel on this side over here, well, our shovel's rotating. It swivels back and forth, which is nice, and we got a plastic guard right there. So we broke a tire loose a little earlier. We'll take a look at putting it back on. Then, high electric motor. We can rotate that thing in both directions, and we're not gonna have any pinch or bind on there or that motor stalling, because this thing works good, all right? Also, you have this bead assist right here. This is nice because Brian was talking about those low profile tires and how hard they are to put on the rims. This will help you. Or you can just throw it on there old school and let the actual pneumatic tooth right here, which is nice. You come down, hit it, it locks. I've done so many tires where this thing's popping back and it's not going on. This is phenomenal. Great option to have. Put it on. Now, I'm no expert on tires. I've done a few in my life, but I'm gonna show you how easy it is. We got an old rim here. Yeah, don't tell me I haven't cleaned it and stuff. I know. We're just gonna throw it on there to show you how cool it is. If I just hit this button, it's gonna come back, lock it on there. I'm sure there's some proper tire procedures with cleaning it, but we just got an old tire. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And this machine is actually that simple. It's pretty cool. I put a little lube on it earlier, and I'm just gonna slip it through the actual machine right here. And then I'm gonna bring that pneumatic arm down, which I love because it goes right on the rim. And actually, when you lock it, it actually kicks over to the rim, man, gives it real easy access to just spin this thing on. Now, I told you a little bit earlier about the high torque motor. You spin this joker, and it just pops around, man. That's just really, really nice. It goes on super easy. Same thing on the other side. Now, this is a pretty big tire, and you'd have to manhandle it. The low profiles, I would go ahead and use the bead assist, but on this one here, I can just basically rotate it, bring it around, push it down in the drop center, and let the high torque motor stretch it right on there. I mean, no problem whatsoever, okay? So once that goes on there, release it, and you're good to go. The tire's on there. Now, you may have some tires that have some old and really need to stretch it out. One of my favorite features, Turbo Blast. If that don't seat a tire, nothing will. All we need to do now is balance it. Brian, let's balance this joker.
Well, if mounting the tires is really the grunt work part of the job, balancing the tires is the precision work, and that's exactly why Ranger designed the DST64T balancer. This is kind of the culmination of their decades in the industry, designed to be the most precise and reliable machine made today. It is fully digitized. It's a very high-tech machine. Probably the coolest thing about it from the shop owner perspective is the fact that this will make a decision on balancing in 6 seconds. If you're balancing dozens of tires a day, hundreds of tires a week, and you're saving yourself several seconds of balancing time each time, that is less electricity your shop's using. That's a lower electricity bill every month. Along with those features, we have a big digitized display here, tons of storage space on the top of the machine. John, this thing is designed for function and for precision.
Yeah, and this thing comes complete, Brian. There's a whole assortment of wheel cones here. For different size rims you'd mentioned, we're doing the bigger ones, the outside cones as well. And you know what? It even comes with the actual pliers to put our wheel weights on and take them off with. I mean, complete from the top to the bottom. Precision and reliability, that's what I'm talking about. You know what, Brian? This thing's got so many bells and whistles and gadgets along with the tire machine. I'm gonna play with this for the next few hours. I think we're about out of time.
Tell you what, I think Christmas came early for us a little bit this year at Motorhead Garage. Thank you for watching Motorhead Garage, and if you have a cool product, you need to contact Jeff at masterstv.com and let us know about it. Maybe you can see your product right here on national television on Motorhead Garage. See you next time.